What if I told you that one of America's most iconic state splits wasn't merely a geographical event, rather power and political struggles and an inability to compromise? This is the saga of Virginia and West Virginia, one state turned two. A Civil War divorce that shaped America, and it's juicier than you think. Get comfortable. We're about to embark on a journey through a story as rugged and intricate as the Appalachian Mountains themselves. Long before the outbreak of the Civil War, Virginia was a land divided by its geography and socio-economic makeup. To the east lay the Tidewater region, characterized by its sprawling plantations dominated by wealthy landowners. These planters capitalized on the labor of enslaved individuals to cultivate lucrative cash crops such as tobacco, cotton, and rice, amassing substantial wealth and social power. Their lives were marked by the grandeur of elaborate mansions and sprawling estates, as well as a lifestyle steeped in the traditions of the Old South, including lavish social gatherings and a certain cultural prestige. To the west, a completely different story. Imagine rugged mountains and lush valleys where hardworking farmers, coal miners, and small communities eked out a living. The residents here had little regard for the plantation system and the institution of slavery that fueled the Eastern economy. Valuing self-sufficiency and independence, they formed close-knit communities focused on labor, agriculture, and resource extraction. They faced higher taxes without adequate public services or infrastructure investments, leading to limited economic opportunities and a sense of disenfranchisement in political representation. These two regions barely spoke the same economic language, let alone shared the same values. People in Western Virginia often felt like they were the neglected middle child in a family that lavished attention on its eldest member, the Eastern elite. The onset of the Civil War in 1861 brought these underlying tensions to a critical breaking point. Virginia wasted no time joining the Confederacy, but there was staunch opposition in the western counties. Many residents were deeply skeptical of the Confederate cause, feeling little to no allegiance to a system that perpetuated a hierarchy that excluded them while also enriching the elite. They weren't about to throw in with a rebellion built on preserving slavery, an institution they had little stake in. The ideological rift widened as the war escalated and loyalties were tested. In Wheeling, West Virginia, a group of delegates decided to flip the script. These determined individuals held what became known as the Wheeling Conventions, where they courageously declared their intent to seek independence from Virginia itself. If Virginia can leave the Union, they argued, we can leave Virginia. Bold move, right? The core belief was clear. If Virginia could break away from the Union, then why couldn't Western Virginia break free from a state that no longer represented their interests? This movement gained momentum, pushing communities together for a separate existence. By 1863, after 2 intense years of organizing, voting, and lobbying on behalf of their cause, West Virginia was officially recognized as the 35th state of the Union. The birth of West Virginia was not merely a geographical division. It represented a profound shift in the political landscape of the United States. Once West Virginia broke away, the Civil War didn't just divide families. It put them on opposite sides of the battlefield. While Virginia became a cornerstone of the Confederacy, hosting key battles like Bull Run and Appomattox, West Virginia remained loyal to the Union Army. But staying loyal didn't make life easy for West Virginians. Half of the state's soldiers were enlisted in the Union Army, and the other half for the Confederacy. Confederate forces often raided towns along the border, trying to reclaim territory or disrupt supply lines. Harper's Ferry, a strategic town in present-day West Virginia, changed hands multiple times during the war. One day you see Union soldiers, and the next day, Confederate troops are marching down Main Street. And it wasn't just soldiers in conflict, civilians were caught in the crossfire too. Unionist families in Virginia and Confederate sympathizers in West Virginia often faced harassment, violence, and forced relocations. In many ways, the war turned the border between the two states into a microcosm of the larger national conflict. West Virginia also played a critical role in the Union's war strategy. The state's rugged terrain and railroad networks were vital for moving troops and supplies. Union forces worked tirelessly to secure control of key routes, knowing that losing West Virginia could give the Confederacy a dangerous advantage. By the end of the war, the two Virginias had been through their own kind of battle, not just for survival, but for identity. In the aftermath of the war, the two Virginias embarked on remarkably different trajectories that would define their identities. West Virginia quickly became a focal point for coal mining and other natural resource extraction. The state's rugged terrain could easily accommodate this labor. Intensive industry, giving rise to a culture steeped in the values of hard work, community, and resilience. Life in West Virginia revolved heavily around the coal mines, with miners' families forging a unique culture born from shared hardship and pride. Conversely, Virginia kept its southern charm, but added a dash of northern flair. Northern Virginia, in particular, transformed into a bustling hub for technology and government. This region became a melting pot of influences, with Northern Virginia boasting a wealth of opportunities stemming from its closeness to Washington, D.C. This area saw the rise of new industries, with companies specializing in technology, cybersecurity, and various federal services. The state presents an intriguing blend of history and modernity, where the charm of horse farms coexists with the hustle of tech startups and urban development in places like Arlington and Alexandria. Could there ever be a scenario in which these two states reconcile and reunite? Short answer, probably not. For one thing, the economic realities are vastly different. Virginia's economy thrives on a diverse array of industries including high-tech sectors, healthcare, and tourism, while West Virginia remains heavily reliant on coal and energy sectors, which have faced significant challenges in recent years due to changes in energy policy and market demand. Moreover, the two states remain politically polarized. The ideological gaps between them would make any effort toward reunification extremely difficult. Culturally, they have grown further apart over the years, resulting in a landscape where their identities are now entrenched in different narratives. At this point, the two Virginias resemble estranged siblings who, despite sharing a common history, have little in common in the present landscape. It's like asking oil and water to mix. They're both liquids, but they'll never blend. But while a reunion is off the table, let's play devil's advocate. Could Virginia split again? The most obvious candidate is Northern Virginia. The increasing urbanization and economic development in Northern Virginia have led some to argue that the region feels more like an extension of Maryland or even Washington, D.C., rather than part of the broader state of Virginia. The bustling tech-driven economy, diverse populations, and rapid growth create a landscape profoundly different from much of the rest of the state. People joke that it's already a separate state, so why not make it official? This notion has sparked conversations regarding a potential separation, with some residents quipping about establishing a new state. If Northern Virginia were to pursue this path, would it seek autonomy based on economic interests that diverge drastically from those found in the historically rural regions of Southern Virginia? The conversations surrounding this idea reflect deeper societal issues, such as representation, economic equity, and cultural identity. In today's world, state splits are about as common as snow in July. Plus, who wants to deal with the paperwork? The story of the two Virginias is about more than a state line. It's a story of identity, resilience, and what happens when communities can't agree. It reminds us how much geography and politics shape who we are. What do you think? Should states like Virginia consider splitting again? Or is it better to focus on finding common ground? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit like, share it with a fellow history buff, and subscribe for more incredible stories. Next time we're discussing another fascinating topic that connects the past to today. Don't miss it.